Alright guys, I'm just going to be straight up and upfront with you. We've got some good news and we've got some bad. The good news is we've received the data mine of the Conquest feats for the latest version of Conquest, the very Conquest in which we are going to get the renowned Darth Malgus, which is, his kit is looking fire. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check out my YouTube video covering the kit. Link to the kit description down below. The problem with it is, well, they suck. Alright, I will not beat around the bush with it, guys. I was kind of expecting this this latest Conquest to have some rather preclusive feats. If you remember, cast your minds back to when we got the full reveal of all the Inquisitorius that we were getting. There were updates to suggest that the Inquisitorius are a brand new faction that they want to try and expand on in the future. We get the Grand Inquisitor coming, and they want to introduce additional areas of viability for these characters. Namely, they're going to be great in territory wars, they'll be taking out GLs, they want to introduce potentially new assault battles, which we still haven't seen any more about. They want to introduce them into galactic challenges, they want to introduce them as Conquest feats. Now, I had a large concern when we had the Mallet kit reveal that essentially CG would paywall the Conquest with Inquisitorius feats, just make it almost impossible to red box without having significant investment in your Conquest characters. That is a cattail. Smudge, do you have any opinions on this particular matter? He's not interested. Yeah, so when we got the data mine, it really didn't surprise me that, lo and behold, it's kind of paywalled. Let's look at it a little bit closer. So, if we bring this up here, we can see that, a couple of the sector feats are usually filled with, pretty prototypical sort of Conquest feats that we would expect to see. You've got some weird, funky ones like Talia, Night Sister, Initiate, and Zalbar surviving, but really, the mini-boss and the boss feats, until you get to the end, sort of, they matter less, because it's only a small amount of data disks in the grand scheme of things. My concern comes is, in Sector 3, you've got defeat 50 enemies with Inquisitorius units, and it's worth 10 keycards. That's a significant amount of keycards, and a lot of people are not going to have the ability to kill units with the Inquisitorius. Now, this isn't, I'm not going to claim that this is a whale-only scenario. There are definitely options that you could probably use low-tier Inquisitorius alongside a GL such as Lord Vader to try and get these kills, but not everybody is going to be in that position. It's also only 10 keycards, and we don't need to get every feat in order to fully realize and get that red box. It just makes it that little bit more tricky and forces us to get our keycards from other locations. But then we see, once again, checking down in Sector 4, we've got a cat. We've got attempt to inflict Purge 300 times, and this is another 10 data disks. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot get 300 stacks of Purge with low gear investment in your Inquisitorius. All you really need to do is have some turns, land some of them, and build them over time. But that is incredibly grindy, and it's going to be a real drain on people's crystals. And that seems to be a recurring theme for this particular Conquest, because that drain on crystals is exactly what they're going for. We can see the return of the feats, like the global feats, 40 battles with Sith Empire, win 40 battles with Sith Empire and Old Republic, and then get an additional 20 battles with Darth Nihilus and Darth Sion. That is 100 battles that you have to do in this Conquest that there is no double dipping on. You have to go in, you have to get that. You can't, that doesn't help with your Inquisitorius feats at all. That doesn't help with the fact that you need to defeat 50 enemies with droid units. It doesn't help with the fact that you've got to defeat 50 enemies with Geonosian units. It doesn't help the fact that you've got to defeat 50 enemies with Empire units. These are grindy feats that they've introduced. That means you're going to have to sim and sim and sim and sim, constantly battling through Conquest, making sure that you are refreshing those crystals to the max, because if you don't have your Inquisitorius, you're missing out on 39 keycards in total. You need to win 14 battles with a full squad of Inquisitorius. You need to You need to get the 300 attempted purges. You need to win a boss feat with a full team of Inquisitorius. There's even a mini boss feat here where you need to win with Starkiller. And I'm not saying that, you know, I know it's only a 2 data disk value, so you can quite easily skip it, but it's when you introduce all of these in one conquest that it really starts to tighten the gap. Now, everybody was supremely happy with Malgus coming to the game, and I feel like CG has maybe just soured this a little bit by making this conquest particularly grindy and difficult and a little bit exclusive in the fact that the Inquisitorius are needed quite heavily. And this brings me to the last point. I am concerned that the reason they introduced this was to try and incentivize the Battle Pass more. Because now, if you get the second highest box, which is quite likely for a lot of people in the sort of 6 million plus GP bracket like myself, and quite easily get the second best rewards, the gold box. And then all you have to do, guys, is buy the Battle Pass and you'll gain the additional shards that make up the difference, and you'll still unlock Malgus along with everybody else who's red boxing. It leaves a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. Far be it from me to say that we should never give CG any money, but I prefer to give money to something that I feel like is worth spending my money on, rather than being told, hey, you better pay for it, otherwise you're going to have to wait additional months. And yeah, they're kind of capitalizing on that fear of missing out when it comes to a strong character like Malgus coming to the game. But that's just my thoughts on it, guys, and I'm curious to think, how do you guys feel about this conquest? Was this a step too far by CG, or is this just business as usual? I feel like the last conquest was such a nice, relaxing conquest in comparison to the ones we've had recently, that it just felt easy and no stress. This one has just dialed that stress all the way up to 11 once again. Take to the comment section down below, guys, let me know, and do check my description section because there are links to all my social media. You can follow me on Twitch. We go live almost every day of the week for several hours. Go find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all this good stuff. Discord, come join me, have a chat, I'd love to hear from you. But until the next video, peace out. Just giving a quick shout out to my patrons. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and without your support, I wouldn't be doing this today. Thanks so much.